Oh, I gotta use Bella and
Toldar, it's a Tunal. Vedun Gar Velos Atreidum. But Velos Atreidum is nothing like Isatunal.
Isatunal. I remember. After you touched the dagger.
Hello,
the
welcome back to the
proclamation.
Space Gulag, otherwise known as PPSW, favorite hangout place, and today we're back with another Star Wars story. Revan is one of the most renowned members of both the Jedi and the Sith. What would have happened if he had trained the Chosen One, meant to bring balance to the Force? Before we begin this video, special thanks to our Patreon voice actors and everyone else part of the Penny Patrol team. If you want a chance to win our next giveaway, which is a lightsaber, watch to the end of the video and I will tell you all about it. Our story begins in the year of 3638 BBY. The Jedi by the name of Revan passed away. He was respected by both the Jedi and the Sith. A tomb was constructed for him on the Sith homeworld of Korriban, while the Jedi buried their fallen member on Tython. A year later, the Sith would launch an invasion against the Jedi Temple.
Maybe explaining it to someone else will help get my thoughts in order.
So what is it? What does it mean?
Isatunal is an affirmation, a statement of existence, of being. It means I am. But no, not
the Galactic Republic stood as a foothold of power
happy.
in the galaxy.
But
6 years earlier, there was a challenge to what they had when the Trade Federation blockaded the peaceful world of Naboo. During this invasion of Naboo, the Sith appeared for the first time in over a millennia. To the Jedi, it was of great concern because Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn was killed during a skirmish between the Sith assassin known as Maul and his apprentice Obi-Wan Kenobi. The duel was ended when Maul was cut into half by Obi-Wan, as his master died in his arms.
That room wasn't there
Qui-Gon
before.
requested one thing of Obi-Wan before he passed into the Force.
Nev
He requested
or
that Obi-Wan train
Harding
the
must have
Chosen
put my
One to
pack
his
here.
stairwell.
Makes sense. Better place to
sleep. 6 years after the death of Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan and Anakin were out and about on missions
in the
all across
infirmary.
the galaxy.
Guess I can spare a few moments to unpack my things.
Very often, and Anakin was overly cocky. His ego was enlarged, and he was more than confident in himself.
Varric and his life lessons. I asked him how we were supposed to stop Solus, and he gave me this. Take a long, hard-looking kid. He'll always show the face of a hero who can get
Anakin
it
knew
done.
he was more powerful, but he didn't have the patience to beat Obi-Wan. There were times during their sparring where Anakin had the upper hand, but it was very easy for Anakin to get cocky and throw away any advantage he had. Obi-Wan tried so hard to get Anakin to release himself from his eagerness to achieve victory. Sometimes it felt like
There
Anakin
she
only wanted
is.
to win. It wasn't
The woman I
necessarily
knew
his
I
fault.
was.
He was a slave
I did
to
the
Tatooine,
work.
but it
I stuck
him
with
as
it.
a Jedi. Anakin tried to impress Obi-Wan, and while it came off a lot that Anakin was resentful towards his master, the truth
Every
was
time
that
I look
Anakin
at this-
just wanted to please him. In some ways, he felt incredibly fortunate to be taught by Kenobi. Obi-Wan was as wise as Master
Doesn't
Yoda
matter what the
and as
First Warden
powerful as
thinks.
Master Windu. But Anakin also felt that Obi-Wan was holding him back to an extent, something Anakin knew that Qui-Gon wouldn't do. Regardless,
The peddler gave me
Master
this
and apprentice
after I
were being
saved his
sent
caravan
to a
from
deep core
bandits.
world. There were some tribes.
He told me the
The
scroll
few
went
survivors
back to
carried the
Obi
legacy of the
before
past
dementia.
and taught it down
Everyone else
generation
had
to
a rich
generation.
history.
Though at
Even
some
more
point,
than the rest
the
of
people
us.
split off from falling into that nest of Gundarks. He would be back late the following day. Kenobi was going to the other camp to find out more about the chief.
We've got a culture that's last.
For solving the issues.
I'm spear.
He told Anakin to stay here and not leave the tribal known, telling him to have the Force be with them. Anakin
A
saw that
meditation
the same
upon
fact
the use
that
of
Master
blades.
Obi-Wan raised his cloak
Must have
and
read
cut
this
off
thing
the
cover to
speaker
cover a
and turned
dozen
it back
times
on,
during weapons
speaking
training.
to the sunset-covered world. Anakin began setting up a small
If I hadn't
camp,
gotten
trying to
stuck
do
with
anything
kitchen
he could
duty for
before
breaking
night
curfew
became
so
too
often,
dark
I
to
might
see
have read
anything.
it even more.
And he felt that pull again. He remembered what Obi-Wan said, but there was something trying to get his attention. Anakin looked over at the
Right.
mountain across the cliff.
That's better.
Under the shadow of the sun, he decided
How do I connect to
investigate.
Solus?
Despite what
Just
Obi-Wan had told him
sleep,
to do,
or-
he stayed put. Anakin walked down through the barren land.
Maybe if
He
I
heard a
clear
small
my
creak
mind.
as he... Anakin. Revan, helped him humble himself and acknowledge that there was more knowledge than what he was able to bestow to his apprentice. Anakin and Obi-Wan would jump in hyperspace with unknown coordinates to Anakin. Obi-Wan turned over and looked at his student as he asked if there had been anything else that Revan had taught him. Anakin shook his head, and then Obi-Wan saw something out of the corner of his eye.
Back
The
so
mask.
soon.
From the mask,
It must
an
have been worse
apparition
than I had
rose.
thought.
It was the apparition of flowing white robes, one of the Order's most unique
But
members.
perhaps I am mistaken.
Obi-Wan couldn't believe it as
You
he
may
looked
be
at
here to
Vader.
correct me.
He looked at
To
Revan
tell me that
and
my
Obi-Wan,
concerns were unfounded.
revealing himself to both Jedi.
You could not
He said that
possibly
there was
be
little
here to
chance
take
for the Jedi
advice
to
from the
come
one you
back.
called
If this master
the
and
Elven
apprentice
God
could
of
learn
Lies.
ways of balance, then maybe they could help the Jedi find peace within themselves and order within the Jedi. It was a long shot.
This has been a
but Revan
big
still
week
believed
for
there
running
was
into
goodness in
things
the
I didn't
Jedi.
think were possible.
He knew that there was every
You are
chance of
adapting
redemption,
quickly.
but it had to be done
I need
by
to
this
know what the
master and
gods are
apprentice
planning.
duo.
You are
Everyone knew
asking for
Obi-Wan
knowledge no
and
mortal
Anakin.
in this world
It
is
was a
privy
duo of
to.
teacher and student that
If I
everyone
am to
paid
share it
attention
with
to.
you,
Because
I
they
need
wanted
to
to
know
see
what
if
makes
the
you
average
the right
Jedi
person
Knight,
to lead
now
the fight
Master,
against
could
Alcon
train the
Kennedy.
Jedi's chosen one. After hours of talking in hyperspace,
I stopped
as the
believing
apparition of
it.
Revan vanished into thin
You
air,
disrupt
the two
the
Jedi
village.
arrived outside of
Yeah, I did. Even though I'm
a
nowhere near as
across it.
powerful as you.
Your plan is to tell me how powerful you are?
Back
He
in
had
the
about
Grey
Revan.
Wardens,
Obi-Wan
I was
told
with a group
Anakin
of
that
recruits
Revan
outside
found
this
himself at
village
peace
dealing with
on the
the
planet
Darkspawn
Hoth too,
incursion.
and here they
Our
would
orders
teach
were
and
to wait
learn
for
with one another
reinforcements,
how to achieve
but we
such
knew that by
balance.
the time they
Obi-Wan,
arrived,
of
everyone in
course,
that
being
village
the
would
Jedi
be dead.
true to the code,
So
saw
you
a
led
change
your
in
team
Anakin.
of recruits in
He
any
would
way,
be arrogant
collapsing the
and
tunnel
what
and
this
saving the
change
village.
would do for Anakin.
How do you know
When they
that?
landed on the surface
You
of the
helped
planet,
Varric pursue me
they
for the
carried
better
the
part of a
supplies
year.
they had to the
It
top
would have been
and found
foolish
the
not to learn
surface
about
of
who
Open
was
Wood,
hunting me.
where they would be
Then
given
you
a
know
place
that
to help
powerful
Revan
opposition
and
doesn't
place
frighten
Revan.
me. I find a way to get the job done, whatever it takes.
They would have to if they
I
wanted
suppose I was
to
not so
increase their
different when I
bond,
started.
so they could achieve
Started
better
what?
strength between Master
My
and
rebellion
student.
against the
Obi-Wan
Evanurs,
first apologized
the
for
Elven
how
gods
lucky
as you
was
call
Anakin.
them.
He wanted to show his
First-
apprentice that he knew he wasn't perfect. Anakin reciprocated this apology and also apologized to his
The Blight
master.
didn't escape with the
being arrogant and impatient.
Correct.
Obi-Wan smiled as the two faced each other and got down on the knees
The
and focused.
rest of the
Obi-Wan
Blight is
stretched out on the
imprisoned?
force and he felt the light
There's
surging
more than
above.
what's in the world
The
already?
darkness valley flowed
Yes.
down below into the
However,
surface of the island. The planet was powerful in the light side and in the dark. Anakin felt it too.
I don't understand.
Obi-Wan felt what was in
Elganon
Anakin
and Gillen-
he was drawn
When
to
my
it.
eff-
And as he
And
suspected,
turned
Anakin
to the-
was drawn to the
Once the
darkness.
corruption took hold of them, they were blind. Now they would blind.
Obi-Wan bit his lip and let Anakin experience the dark. Whole power of
What
the
would they need
Force
to do
before
to free the
speaking
Blight?
up.
And
The
how
two
do we
meditated
stop
as they
them
let
from
themselves
doing it?
become one with
They
the
wanted
island
to pierce
and the
their
Force
way
energies
to the
within
Light's
it
prison.
and a part of it.
I forgot about
Anakin
that.
opened his
I
eyes and
almost
saw his
lost the
master's
dialogue
smile.
thing.
Anakin was curious, and
We've
so
already
he
recovered
went
from
into
the
his master's
electric
mind to see what it was that
Excellent.
Obi-Wan was concentrating on.
Then they will have to make
When
their
he
way.
went in, he was
That will
surprised
give
to
you
see a
time.
feminine shadow
When you said
behind
the
him.
gods needed two things,
She was with them all
and
the
the Blight was
time.
the first,
Anakin didn't know who
What's
she
the second?
was, but she was
Followers.
quite elegant. Anakin then
They
got a
who call
vision
themselves
of what he
gods.
saw, and it was a construction
And
of
what
an
is a
evil
god
plot
without
brewing in
worship
the
is to
galaxy.
sing their
A world of
praises?
water, a
I'm not
mountain's
gonna bend it.
planet and temple.
I don't.
A
Agreed.
bearded man with
Tyrants.
white hair,
If
and
you
a
have
cloaked figure in an eerie industrial skyscraper. There was so much pain and death. Anakin then watched as there were bodies everywhere. The death of thousands, just like the
You
bodies
want me to
behind
pick
others
fights
escaped
with
from his
tyrants
pain
and bullies?
he encountered here. In some
The venom-
vision,
Uh,
lost.
yes.
Anakin rolled back over and jolted his eyes open. Obi-Wan heard Anakin fall back as he opened his eyes and got up to see Anakin breathing heavily on the ground. Obi-Wan got up and gently calmed Anakin down by sitting next to his apprentice. He asked what was wrong as tears flowed from his eyes. He couldn't believe it. The bodies inside the temple, they were everywhere. Sure, Anakin had a miserable 6 years as a Jedi, but it was too much pain to bear watching all of those people dead on the ground. They didn't deserve it. Obi-Wan told Anakin that it would be okay. Revan would reappear as he spoke up, telling Anakin that he foresaw the future, a future without balance but darkness, explaining that the dark side was powerful. It gave so much immaculate power, but it took that power by killing and preying on others. The younglings, Padawans, Knights, Master, they were all victims of a plot that was building in this time right now. Revan spoke, saying again that the Sith of his own time were many, but the Sith of this time were few. They were calculated, and they were ready to seek revenge for the first time in millennia. Revan knew of the rule of two, and he knew that it would backfire on the Sith eventually, but Anakin needed to be the one to do it. Revan told the two of them that there was a cave below the island. They were not to enter it until they were ready. One needed absolute balance to enter that cave, and while Revan was setting this up to see if Anakin would disobey him, he said it to let the two Jedi know that there were answers somewhere on the planet in the future. Revan told the two that they would have to find harmony with the Force. It would take months to do, especially for Obi-Wan. Anakin wasn't tied to the code like Obi-Wan was. He nodded his head as he realized what he would have to do.
So Solus
And he
told
would
the
go back
truth
into his
about the
past,
gods.
to a time where he
You
questioned the
heard?
code the most. Revan
It's-
had a vision.
The team
He
need...
foresaw
You
Anakin
gotta
and
take
Obi-Wan
point on this.
with he and his old friend Alec were.
I can't do what you do. I've barely been holding
Hello?
together in the short time you've been out.
You don't need to do what I do. You just need to get it done. Rook, when I put this team together, what did I look for? A detective to find the Dreadwolf, and a scout to get us the lay of the land.
Okay.
Exactly the people he'd expect me to recruit. Disciplined,
Okay.
predictable. And then there's you. Remember when we first met, kid? I
Before
watched you lead a
Alec
few
became
misfit
Alec,
recruits
the
and
two
push
were a
back
powerful
one of the
duo.
biggest
The
dark
only
spawn
fears that
hordes
Kenobi and
I've ever
Skywalker
seen.
would turn to the dark side and
Need to
bring
find the
the
right
galaxy to
strategy.
its knees.
And
Though there was
other
something odd about
warden
Kenobi for
found
Revan.
it.
He
You
didn't know what it
stopped
was, but there was
that horde.
something regarding
Had to
women.
drop
Revan
down
had learned
all
about
knowledge,
Padme's from
but
Anakin early
you
on
got
in
a knack,
Anakin's
kid.
training, and it had been talked
What?
about. Revan
Finding
encouraged
a way
Anakin to
through
seek
the
out a healthy
wildest
relationship,
shit I've ever
because
seen.
after all, the
With
Stealer
a
brought
plan
him
that
back
no
from
one
the darkness
expects.
thousands of years
On
before.
the best day of
But
his
for
life,
Kenobi and this
Solus wouldn't
woman,
see you
he didn't
coming,
really
Rook.
know.
And
Regardless,
don't worry,
Revan told the two
I'll
that they needed
still
to
be
do
here to
everything
talk
together.
if you need me.
They needed to spar together. They needed to use the Force together, meditate, and everything else they could do together. If they realized their true potential, they could access a power that they didn't know they had. Revan foresaw it, which is why he didn't break Anakin off away from Obi-Wan. If the two could harmonize together in true balance, then the two of them could very truly become a dyad of the Force. Though Revan wanted to see if they could figure it out themselves. Revan had an ancient knowledge of the Force, and all of this knowledge had been long
Demeter's
forgotten,
Crossing was-
especially because of the Jedi after the fall of
While we
Tython.
were there,
Regardless, the
we
next
found
4
one
months of
survivor.
training would be
We met.
extravagant.
You
It had
sent
been
him
2
to the
weeks since they
wardens,
last saw
right?
Revan. He left the two of them to
Everyone's happy about my
themselves.
decision.
Obi-Wan and Anakin grew exponentially
not
together.
when I'm
They
not
relied off
using
of one
my
another,
trust.
and because of their
The key
reliance
to
on one
earning the
another,
team's
they were allowed to
trust
access new
isn't trying to
powers
make
from within the
decisions
Force.
everyone
The
agrees
two were
with.
unstoppable together.
It's showing
While
the
Anakin
team
was the
that they
chosen
can
one,
tell you
their
whatever's
power
on their
grew
mind,
together.
even
Anakin
if they
also
think
learned
you're full
patience
of
as he
crap.
decided to trust his
And
master's
know you'll
teachings.
listen.
As the past few months progressed, Anakin became less and less reliant on Revan, and more reliant on Kenobi. Obi-Wan opened up to Anakin, and Anakin
When I took
opened up to
over the
Obi-Wan.
ritual site,
They both
I had
talked
to make
about their
all the
feelings with
Anakin
one
members
another.
walk over that
Obi-Wan's
statue.
love for Satine and
It was the first
Anakin's
decision I
admiration
made
for
leading this
Padme.
team,
The
and
two of them
hardly
respected each other,
got
and they
the
also
good of
grew
it.
as one.
You
They
made a
became a
decision with the
dyad of the
best
Force.
information
Their
you
power
had.
radiated off of one
Sometimes you do
another,
that.
and Anakin
People
came
end
into
up
his
hurt.
own as a
Or
16-year-old
worse.
chosen one,
What would you
and
have
Obi-Wan
done?
came into his
What
own
would
as a
I have
teacher
done?
of the chosen one. He was
Probably
able to
gotten
guide a
myself
student
killed
to a
and
good
failed to stop the
level. While the
ritual
Jedi
if you
Council
hadn't
had no
stepped
clue
in.
where Kenobi took
A
his
good
student,
leader
it was
isn't someone
apparent
who
that the two
never
of them
makes mistakes.
were out in the galaxy growing.
It's someone who
The
admits
Force was
when
all
they
set.
make one.
Light and dark
That's how
dissipated
you
as the
earn
two
their
of them
trust.
realized that they could restore true balance in the universe. While neither the Jedi or Sith could match the power of these two, Anakin and Obi-Wan became humbled as they respected each other and used each other to propel themselves forward. Balance on Ahch-To was guided by the Force, as they saw the ways of the ancient Jedi as
Didn't
rudimentary.
Ev tell you
Obi-Wan
about
saw the
me
code as
talking
something
Solus
that
and
was
Vader?
restrictive, and
I had
really
some
became
good
aware of
arguments
what
with
could have
Chuckles
happened had the
back in
two
the
of them
day.
stuck to the
I can't
code
imagine
rather
being
than the
stuck with
Force.
him in my head.
Realizing that the
But how
Force
are
was
you
meant to be a
feeling
part
about
of their
it?
natural abilities, Anakin and Obi-Wan learned to respect their places in the other individual's life. Anakin truly saw Obi-Wan as a master and respected him like a father, while Obi-Wan saw Anakin like a student and respected him like a son. The two of them were able to identify their bond with one another, and they were both able to identify their bond with the Force itself. Obi-Wan, on the other hand, learned the ways of Form 6 and taught Anakin how to use it as well. The two of them cemented themselves as users of the Force, not Jedi, not Sith,
He's the
but
god of
balanced
lies
in
and
the
he's inside my
Force.
head,
Their
Varric.
balance helped them
How do you think
capitalize
I
off
feel
of
about
rare Force
Fair
abilities.
enough.
Many of these
But
abilities were
Nev's a
taught
great
to Anakin
mage.
by
If
Revan
you need her
and
to whip
Obi-Wan,
up a war to
but
keep him out
Anakin
of your
could only
mind,
use them.
she can.
Obi-Wan was
But
greatly
you have a
powerful, and his
guest or two.
power only
Why
increased
not?
because of this dyad
Solus is
created
our
between
best
him
source
and
of information
Zacchaeus.
about these
But
elven
both
gods.
Obi-Wan and
We
Anakin
can't stop
accepted
them without
and
what he
respected
knows.
that Anakin
So
was
you're making the
certainly
decision
always
to
meant
keep
to be more
talking with him.
powerful. While in
I-
duels, Obi-Wan was always able to hold his
Yeah,
own, and
you're
even beat
making a
Anakin
choice.
50% of the time.
Stay
The Force,
careful.
though, is where
Stay worried.
Anakin was
Don't beat
extremely
yourself
powerful,
up about doing what
intangible
you
to
have to
Obi-Wan.
do.
Anakin
also
could
asked me to
create
tell you that
storms,
he
tame
regrets what
seas,
happened,
crush
letting
mountains.
you
He was
go.
truly powerful, and
Chuckles
he
is
was an
I-
unstoppable force. Revan knew what Anakin could become if he fell into
I'll go get
darkness,
some rest.
and he did everything
You're
to
gonna
avoid
be
Anakin
fine,
becoming
Revan.
a vessel of evil,
Hey,
not knowing the
one
result
last thing
of
before
Anakin
you go.
falling to the dark side.
I've been racking
But there
my
was still the
brain
possibility
thinking
of the
of
galaxy
contacts
being
who might
consumed
help
by
us
Paano
with
evil.
these
Mandela or not?
gods.
Obi-Wan and
Mandela
Anakin
Got
or
any
what?
could
ideas?
feel it more than
Oh,
ever
yeah.
before. And if
Being
anything,
a leader
Anakin's
is
visions
without
taught
having all
him
the
was
answers
true.
yourself.
It was almost time for
It's about
Anakin and Obi-Wan to go
Will
out and
do.
search for these
Anytime.
things told about and shown. But there was also one more lesson. Revan appeared and told both Kenobi and Skywalker that they needed to face the darkness alone. It was evident that together they could take on the galaxy, but they needed to trust in themselves, so that when they were away from one another, that they could always rely on the Force. Revan mentioned Malak again, and how he was betrayed by his best friend. And while Revan and Malak were never a dyad, the potential was unstoppable, and was allowed to fuse when Revan turned away from the darkness, and Malak became a part of the never-ending evil.
Hey, Nev.
Revan asked
Hi,
Anakin to
Wisps.
go down into the caves
Yeah,
below the planet
they're still
and
here.
seek the
But
darkness for
you're
himself,
here for
and
leads.
find what he
You want
could
allies to go after the
inside
gods.
darkness,
I've got
and
please.
see if it could
Balara's working.
lead them away
Let's.
from the light and the balance.
The god.
Only
First,
Furious
I got all these
Anakin
bank
could be
accounts.
dissuaded from being a part of
You
the
want to
light.
fight gods with
Obi-Wan
assassins?
would wait on the top of the
Not just
mountain
any assassin.
and
Their
wait
most
until Anakin
feared
returned.
mage killer.
Anakin went down
Demon
below
of
as Obi-Wan
Byranti.
went to the top rock and meditated on the Force. As Anakin entered the cave below, he felt coldness inside of the dark side. He could see the temples of the Sith and the rule of two taking over the galaxy. Anakin could feel the surge of evil growing in the war on the near horizon.
Feared
There was
mage
something
killer
brewing
doesn't
in the
bother?
galaxy.
If he
Anakin saw
doesn't have
massive
contract
armies,
out on
just like
me,
the armies he
it's not a
saw
problem.
when he first held Revan's blade and helmet. He didn't
Well,
know
I'm
what this
sold.
meant, but it
Now,
seemed as if
time to close.
impending doom was on the horizon if he and Obi-Wan
The
didn't
demon got
stop
his
whatever
nickname
evil
taking
this
out blood
was.
mages in
And then
Venator.
Anakin realized that
From
there was
everything I've
a
learned,
mountain
the
over a lava
reputation
bank.
is earned.
He saw Obi-Wan on
I
top
never
of it,
uncovered his real
tempting
name,
him
and there's
to
been
try and
fewer
face the
stories the
high
last few
ground.
years.
The dark eminence
But
of the
the
galaxy
pros would
cackled
know.
behind
I
Obi-Wan,
can set a
misleading him
meeting with their
as
bosses.
the head of a silver-haired man rolled down the lava bank. Anakin was
Time
confused
to
and
make
even
new friends?
scared. He didn't
We'll
know
see if it
what to
works.
do and make
You said
anything
the
of this
pros were
moment,
first.
but it was terrifying to
What's
see
next?
what evils could be
A true
ignited if he
home.
fell into darkness.
Back to
Anakin didn't
new
realize the
methods.
potential of such powers,
Capital
but
city
he
in the
remembered
heart of
that the
Tevinter.
darkness only
An
brought him
empire
pain
of
and
mages
suffering.
that knows a thing or
Anakin
two
eventually
about
left the
magic.
cave with a heavy heart as he
Tevinter
collapsed in the
will
grass,
be-
overlooking the
Won't
ocean.
help. They're a
Feeling
They've got Besides, I owe them an update.
and saw the death of so many he cared about.
Are they all?
He saw Satine, Emlyn, and hundreds more. He was meant to suffer, and his goal was to help and balance the Force. Obi-Wan was strong, though he was not deterred from the light, and while he would have said he lived by the code, he now lived by balance. After seeing the destruction of so many, Obi-Wan left the cave and found Anakin. He told his young apprentice that they could not return to the Jedi Order. Anakin was puzzled, as Revan watched without making himself present or known to the Jedi. Obi-Wan told his apprentice that the two of them needed to go out and find this source of evil. Anakin may have only been 16, but the two of them could stop the Sith together. They had grown so much, and as they died in the Force, there was nothing the galaxy could throw at them that they couldn't stand up against. They knew that if they trusted in each other, then their power would be immeasurable. But that was the key. Everything they learned on Ahch-To needed to be complete balance and complete trust in one another. The master and apprentice duo had come a long way since
Just
time,
have to.
and it was time for them to prove what more was to do.
Shit.
As Anakin fell off
Sorry.
his robes,
Can
he
I
also carried with him
help?
No,
Alzheimer's.
no, I got it.
The two of them would go to the
Leslie.
shuttle as they searched for the water world.
Mirrors are funny
First, they would go
things,
to Mount Cala,
aren't
then
they?
even to Naboo, searching for this
Reflections.
facility that Anakin
They
envisioned.
distort
There were so
reality,
many
no
planets in
matter
the
what you
galaxy
try.
far and wide, but on Mount Cala, a young man told
And
him
there's
of a
the
planet called
trick.
Kamino. They could find what they
Control
believed was
that
there. All the water
distortion.
planets were really they set surprised by the force, and because their civilizations were entirely based around living on the water. Anakin and Obi-Wan
There you
would
have
find
it.
Kamino 2 weeks after leaving Ahch-To. When they
If I
landed,
had to
they
guess,
immediately felt discomfort. There
Didn't
was something
Marg...
evil on the
She
planet,
called it.
but they did not know what. When they arrived, they were greeted by a creature with an extremely
Maybe
tall neck.
Morrigan got
The
this
creature
one
was
wrong.
one of these Kaminoans, and she
Right.
seemed extremely happy to see that the Jedi were here. The Jedi were confused as to why they were welcomed so warmly.
Either
but
you
they weren't
found
requested to be here. The Kaminoan expressed that the Jedi ordered
Well,
a grand army.
but-
Though there was a problem.
And-
Someone was on the planet at the wrong time. He was talking to
We
the
have
Prime
no
Minister
idea what-
when the greeter accidentally brought the two
Just-
Jedi into the Prime Minister's room. The man was known as Lord Tyrannus, but when he removed his hood to see the two Jedi, it was obvious to Obi-Wan who it was. Tyrannus was Dooku. addressed Obi-Wan as Master Kenobi. The two Jedi studied themselves as Dooku made a proposition, but Anakin spoke up, interrupting the Council Sereno, as he told Dooku that they were here to stop whatever operation was brewing here, or else.
Hello.
Dooku laughed
And
off his
where?
threat as he stood up and ignited his crimson blade. Anakin and Obi-Wan saw this as a threat and immediately ignited theirs. Anakin holding a blue and amethyst blade, Obi-Wan prepared himself as the three prepared to interlock in a duel. Obi-Wan didn't say anything to Anakin.
You don't have to.
Unsave wailing, as they steadied themselves into the form's thick stances. Dooku was surprised. Obi-Wan was taught form 4 by Qui-Gon, and didn't expect Obi-Wan nor his apprentice to take up the masterful form of Form 6. They moved around as they each tested one another with light blows from the lightsabers, as they moved around delicately. Anakin moved into an attack position as he pressed forward. Obi-Wan at the same time did to Dooku. Dooku bounced back as he deflected the first strike and then ducked under the second. Dooku was used to being on offense, but as soon as he was put on
Here,
defense,
this dog seems sturdy.
He was stuck, and he had no way of escaping the situation. If he didn't
So
escape,
you can ferry us to the other islands.
not quite as loose as he would have been as a younger man. Dooku slipped under a blade from Obi-Wan as Anakin threw his blade forward.
I'll
and
take that
caught
as a
Dooku by
yes.
surprise, cutting through the Count's stomach as he fell back.
Honored dweller.
Anakin caught him as he lowered him to the floor. Anakin sheathed his blades as Obi-Wan ran over to help him too. Skywalker asked Dooku what he was doing here. Dooku laid back as he coughed heavily. He looked into the
So
glare of the
we're
lights, then back
interlopers
down to
too?
Obi-Wan and then to Anakin's eyes as he concentrated on breathing. Anakin again asked what Dooku was doing here, as Obi-Wan said that they could save him if he told them. Dooku pondered for a moment, as his mind ran back and forth, his thoughts becoming fragile as he thought of what could happen if he told it to what he was
Fade
doing.
tear. That's where they're breaking
Words
through.
out of his mouth.
The gods are breaching the fate itself.
By the symbol,
Just for us.
and bleeding, and saying the galaxy was one. The execution of the Jedi. It's the best. The Adults is the other. Decided Anakin Obi-Wan placed the hand over the and used the first witness in the
Take him out.
and killed the aging Count. He said as he looked down to see that the lightsaber
I feel the God.
This
Cannot be possible.
Anakin told Dooku that he
Got company to the left.
The soul of the same. If they could do this shit, the possibility of the same and when they entered the green by a door and it was to the ship, and it was the night, and it gives them asking the pilot to take them to the city. They started looking for the ship and see the ship again. The name of the droid gave them the city. So, use it, and then turn to the goods, layers of things, and support, good pause in the past, so yes. With that, as the droid turned around and popped the control system into vision of the air, he ran down and watched his sword float away in the control system, and the ship went into hyperspace. They got on the ground,
Good work,
in the
everyone.
cockpit, and meditated. Anakin was taught the form of the Force that Rev and his wife used, battle meditation. The two
What's
became
this?
trained in the power of the
It looks
Force,
like
as they used the
an
power of battle
entryway.
meditation as Anakin surrounded the two with the power to overcome any adversity they may face in their
What's
endeavors
going on
together.
here?
Is that
Revan
spirited
came to
prisoner?
them. He had one final
You're
request,
awake.
that they
How's
take
your
the
head?
cutscenes and
The
teach
guards
them
really knocked
prayers.
you about.
Anakin understood, considered Obi-Wan.
Well,
Revan requested that
it's.
they use his
Do
legacy
you
not
remember
for
our
power,
mission?
but to teach
Gillian
others how to
Ames
use the
the wolf
Force
sent us
with
to
true
infiltrate her testing
balance.
grounds.
To accept the
Mm.
Force as a
Didn't go
guide rather than a
perfectly
tool.
to plan,
Anakin and
but the
Obi-Wan
wolf smuggled
nodded.
in help.
Within
a
hours,
key.
they landed inside of a
If
complex.
you can fight,
It was hollow,
grab the
standing
key and
in
we'll
the
go
air,
for it.
and it was
Just be
trained
ready for
with
whatever
evil.
the witch has in
Anakin
store.
and Obi-Wan looked around as they tried to find the Sith.
It's like
They
we're
saw
just
the
in
lights, statues, and even an
Freedom.
altar.
We'll move
They
faster
waited
if we split
patiently
up.
as if
See
the
you
Sith
ahead.
were here. They went into the middle of the day before it thought.
The light.
While they didn't know
Be
it,
careful.
even with the
These
Chancellor
are more than
and
just
his
memories.
Fight!
Obi-Wan was thinking about it. They knew what was to come next. They knew what was next. The altar. They knew what was training and the force and using the power for their people to become a peace. It has a
was experimenting with Blight and Darkspawn. Blight infested her lab. If it's a memory, let's go with it. We need to find our way out before Gillenane finds us.
But it was powerful. Sidious then realized what it was as Anakin leapt from his knees and ignited both blades, killing the same in a synchronized fashion. The two of them standing adjacent to Sidious as the Sith Lord realized he was facing down the most powerful duo the Force could create. The Sith Lord would not run from a challenge as he ignited both blades and admired the purple blade that Anakin had. Sidious then noticed something that helped along the ground.
Wolf, you came for us. Your key was enough.
This unnatural corruption demanded my personal attention. It is strong. It has already blocked the escape route I had planned. We will need another way to the surface.
Let's all split up and find it.
I will destroy what corruption I can. You must cut through these monstrosities before Gillenane unleashes something worse.
Zola sounded rattled.
The Blight really had him scared.
You see boundless creation and choose to destroy it? Learn respect for the life that will succeed you.
She's using the testing grounds against us. Time to go.
Free! And faster than anticipated. Perhaps you and your allies warrant more study.
We've got company.
Your turn!
Think we broke through to Gillenane's prize specimens.
If this is what Darkspawn looked like when Gillenane was experimenting, then
Maybe the Darkspawn we've been seeing aren't new.
Here, the blessing you denied.
Wolf, help me! Ah!
Damn!
Hello,
Gillenane got
we
her.
are Justice. Welcome back to the Space Builder. Today we're going to find out what would have happened had the two Zabrak brothers been raised at the Jedi Temple. Before we begin this video, special thanks to our patrons, voice actors, and everyone who's my team, which have given a free lightsaber. Nice giveaway. Video exactly like so what we're doing is before DUI. Jedi Master Keanu Moody was out in the outer rim, and for this up, contribute extreme powers in the Force. It wasn't exactly fun being looked out there, where an interaction with the Wolf in 1000. She was proved fair for the Jedi person. There to play this true performance. The movie landed was further away from the Force's down. You don't have to be the Brotherhood. But they also knew how much I was from there. They were a military-based society, and they were taught, I don't know, destroying things in the bad days, when I think it was the Force, and had theirs to their it was so nice to finally be able to catch up and see each other with their own eyes again. Their interaction was nice, it was still giving the two of them first date vibes. There was a slight awkwardness in the air, not in the bad sense, but in the cute sense. They had so much to catch up on. The hope was that the war would come to an end, but for kind of happened in the same period of time, and he couldn't really handle it. Days later, Yoda would show up on the new homeworld of the Jedi. He knew he could survive that fall. He just needed to show Anakin how he could let go. What if the Jedi Order went into hiding right before Order 66? That's our story for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. And by the way, we're going to do a lightsaber giveaway of 50,000 subscribers and a Lego set giveaway, so just subscribe and go to the pinned comment down below to see how to enter. Also, hit the like button if you want to see this video on screen on Saturday.
You chose to constrain yourself.
Hit the like button
I
if you want
must
to see
climb to the heights.
today's video. The story begins inside of the Jedi Temple hangar as Anakin Skywalker is informing Windu of the revelation he just discovered. Chancellor Palpatine, the man
It's over. Solus destroyed the lab, the blight that was here, and his agent.
He was so ready to burn it all.
Under their nose the entire time. And as Windu hears this
Friends
revelation,
included.
he knows it was planned to enact
Not much has
a plan that he
changed.
took place months
This
ago.
fragment might tell us more.
Anakin and Obi-Wan discovered that it was actually the Sith that created the clone army. This had greatly troubled Windu for weeks. He could barely sleep as he was sensing a plot to destroy the Jedi. So not long after, Windu took it upon himself to prepare 3 huge transports to be built on the planet Harun Kal, a planet that he had connections with, and a planet that had allies to the Jedi and to the Republic. And so for months, these transports were built up for this very day. As Windu prepared to take off to the Chancellor's office, he looked to Anakin Skywalker with great seriousness. Windu told Anakin that he needs to be able to trust him, and Anakin said that he could. And so he began briefing on his plans to evacuate the Jedi, saying that Cinderella and Shanti would be able to help him. Anakin was given instructions on how to call for these Jedi transports, but to tell the rest of the Jedi of the galaxy to evacuate their battles discreetly. Anakin was conflicted, as he might need Palpatine to save Padme, but Mace looked him in the eyes and said that if he can evacuate the Jedi, then he will surely be the Jedi Master. This made Anakin want to prove himself to the Jedi, and so he got to work as Windu took out Palpatine's office. I don't know what Order 66 was, but Windu believed that in order for Palpatine alerting other masters to prepare for evacuation. Used Windu's instructions to call the transports and ran down to the communications center. Activate. As to take over the computer ready. And send a message to a communications device. Stay with instead of clicking as the Sith has revealed itself. After sending out the message, Anakin got to the main hall and found all of the Jedi ushered out of the temple's back entrance. There were around 4,000 of the 9,000 remaining Jedi still in the temple, and a huge majority of the temple Jedi were younglings, priests, elders, instructors, basically Jedi that did not fight at all. And now they waited for the transports as the Jedi engaged Darth Sidious in his office. Sidious discarded a Polar and Tin by catching them off guard, but Windu and Fisto were battling him quite well. Sidious took both of them into the other room and finally got an opportunity to cut down Fisto, leaving just him and Windu now. Sidious fell into the Force, feeling for Anakin. He could not feel his presence approaching. This was not good. Sidious could always feel what Anakin was doing. The
Guardians can't hold them off for long.
Keep him away. So Sidious backlit behind the desk, flipped an emergency security switch, trying to draw in reinforcements.
Is that something inside it?
Sidious, 5 royal guards ran in, and they circled Windu as 10 Coruscant Guard troopers followed as well. Sidious shot right at Windu,
and also to a wolf.
Both of the guards
Bet I know who that's for.
and began firing. Windu had no choice now, except to evacuate, so he drove over the window, rolling down to the ground, catching his speeder flying near the building, and turning back to the temple. He failed. Windu was eventually able to reach the temple and he talked to Anakin. Anakin informed him that he sent out the message, and all of the Jedi will be heading to Ahch-To to meet them. Windu now wondered if maybe he should go back for Palpatine. He was so close. He could kill him. If he found Anakin with him this time, maybe he could end it. He wouldn't have a chance. Palpatine executed Order 66, and across the galaxy, clone troopers suddenly turned on their Jedi commanders. There were around 6,000 Jedi spread over the galaxy at this moment. Jedi away from the temple, either in battle or on some sort of mission for retreat. As the Sidious went up, around half of them would be killed immediately. Only the most of them received the message from the temple and were able to evacuate in time. Among those that failed to retreat were Kiadi-Mundi, Aayla Secura, and Jarl Hall. But among those that did retreat were making it onto the Cloak, Obi-Wan, Depa-Billaba, and Ahsoka Tano. And on Coruscant, as Mace Windu was getting into the transport, the three transports took off from the Jedi Temple, heading to the atmosphere. The Republic blockade in the sky turned towards them, and Skywalker ordered the Jedi pilots to take evasive action, while he fires ion blasts at the blockade. They got closer and closer, but unfortunately, one of the transports took a direct hit, completely exploding, killing around 1,000 Jedi, as each transport had around that many of them inside. It was the transport led by Superman, and he didn't have time for Darth Moss. He and the other transport were able to escape the blockade, punching in the coordinates for Ahch-To. Around 24 hours later, the galaxy was completely shifting. Emperor Palpatine has convinced the Senate that the Jedi are evil, and they have turned against the Republic and themselves. The Senate believes in evil.
That's the champion we're looking for. Watch yourself.
As the galaxy is completely out of shadow, Emperor brings the galaxy to Ahch-To. Realized why he received the sense, and seeing the brightness
Rook,
That's the essence we need.
Traveled to the smaller island.
Ugh, hope I don't have to carry it for too long.
We had to calm them down. There was great fear among these younglings. It was the council's job to try and help them adjust. And then the council, along with a few other strong Jedi, traveled across the water. One Jedi Temple guard snuck off to a cave to contact his true master. This Temple guard was promised a place in the new empire as Grand Inquisitor. And what better way to serve his new role than leading Rise Up? And inside of the base, Monster Rex.
As the God's champion passed freely, so will you.
Was here. As he sought to hold the line against these Death Troopers. The clash of sabers, the blaster fire echoed through the halls of
I didn't know this many Illuvians
still
still existed. Where did they go?
Time to find out.
Not be enough. Sidious blasted in with lightning, and spun at an opening to kill Ahsoka and Obi-Wan. But as he moved in for the kills, a giant explosion suddenly shook the base. Sidious slammed into the wall. The explosion soon filled the cloning room behind them, thanks to the Jedi bolt, destroying the base from the inside. Sidious looked on, screaming, "My clones!" And as he was getting up, Anakin force pushed him deep into the explosion, and he was swallowed up. There was no time to celebrate, as the explosion was now towards them. So the three Jedi and two clones began sprinting to the base entrance. As they ran through the base, they met up with the rest of the surviving clones and Jedi, including Plo Koon and Wolf, reunited. All of them were going as fast as they could. The explosion was right behind them, and after running for so long, they reached the entrance, diving into the transport waiting for them. Anakin took the controls. He flew away as the base erupted from the inside out. He did it. The Emperor was dead. From here, the Jedi, clones, and senators on their side would unite
You must be
Coruscant and begin explaining to the people everything that went wrong. The Senate was hesitant to see it. What if the Jedi Order offended the Republic? That's our story for today. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and let's get right into this one.
My associate
Our story
Viago is
begins
gathering
inside
the
of the
others.
secret Sith
We can
lair
talk
on
business when
Coruscant,
we arrive.
deep in the industrial sector. Former Jedi Master Dooku is standing above a dead body of someone he just killed. Dooku was just confronted by Master Yaddle while speaking with Darth Sidious, and Dooku had to make a choice, and he chose to honor the death of Qui-Gon Jinn and rejoin the Jedi after exposing that they allowed the Sith to rise to power as Chancellor. And now Dooku